Nothing better than the end of a day of deer hunting around a nice open fire campsite like this. Oh, it does feel good. And what could be better at the end of opening day than opening day deer liver, of course, supplemented for Bob Garner, huh?
Yeah, can we get right to the eating?
With some great stew. Kathy, what do you think about that?
Venison and wild rice stew.
Does that need some more water?
Yeah, just a little bit. It's been cooking for a while here. Just
Okay.
kind of moisten it so it doesn't stick
Do you
to the
want
bottom.
to spoon some in there?
Okay.
Now this is
Bottom this, please?
Sure.
this is a real primitive setup here, an old oaken bucket over an open fire, and this is what the muzzle loaders do in this state. We have muzzle loaders all over the place, and of course Guy and Evelyn Swan, you folks have been real good coming to our outdoor fair and various events. We've been down at some of your muzzle loading events. You came up with this recipe that you, Evelyn, say is kind of Indian?
Mm-hmm. It's out of an Indian cookbook.
Yeah, that's great, but you've never had it before.
No, I didn't have any venison.
Ah, so they provided the recipe, we provided the venison, and we'll show you right here how Kathy put this together. How do you do this, Kath?
Okay, I'm going to quarter 3 onions.
Uh-huh.
And then take the venison and cut it across the grain so that it doesn't get all stringy in your stew.
Well, that's right. You can see venison like this.
Right.
That would be
And it'll
very
just
stringy.
break apart and be real stringy. Good for barbecue, but not for stew.
Now, you would put, if we were actually making a big pot of this, we're just representing this with a little bit of venison, but you would put how many pounds?
I'd use 3 pounds for a pot this big and about this many people.
Okay, very simple so far. And then what?
Okay, this is going to cook. If you want to add water to this,
How much water?
2 quarts it calls for. If you just want to fill it about up to there.
Okay, you
I'll
grab
hang
the
on to
spoon.
this. Okay, that's good.
That's good.
Okay, we're going to boil this for 3 hours. Well, simmer it
Okay.
for 3 hours,
And we could do this over the open fire, just like you see right here.
like we have done that one.
No spices?
Not yet, no. Just the venison and onions, and that's it for right
Okay.
now.
So this cooks for 3 hours, and this is what we have.
This is the cooked, just cooked venison.
Here, let's see how this is. Bob, you want to try a piece of that cooked venison?
I'd love to.
That's boiled for 3 hours with no spices.
I'll think it'd be great on sandwiches, you know.
Yeah.
That's great.
Here, you want to try some of that? You give that a try. That's before the spices. Then after it's been cooking for...
3 hours. It'll cook down some, but not a whole lot because you're only going to simmer it. Then you're going to add some salt and pepper.
About how much?
2 teaspoons
Of
pepper and about 4 teaspoons of salt.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
but you're going to get it used up here in a minute.
Any other spices?
Nope, that's it.
What about the
Simple
rice?
to take along on a camping trip.
And what about the rice?
Okay, we're going to add the rice after this is cooked just a little tiny bit.
And then you
Okay.
dump that in.
Right, okay, we'll just go ahead and dump this. This
Sure.
is wild rice. And we're going to cook this for 20 minutes covered so that it holds in the moisture, and then take the cover off and let the rice soak up the water.
Okay.
And it turns out real good.
Let's get over here. Take the lid off, Kathy, because we're going to want to eat this right away. That's a real simple recipe. We'll be right back with Bob Garner's taste test, but first, see if you can answer this week's outdoor quiz. Venison and wild rice stew. Who wants to be first with their plate?
Well, I'd defer to these other two, but I'm sure they'd be real polite and say, why don't you go first, Bob?
Okay, well, here, Bob, come on, get it up here. And there's
All
a
right,
plate
all
full
right.
of... Go ahead, Guy. These are genuine pewter pots. When you folks camp out, you go all the way with the primitive...
As primitive as we can go. We don't want to lose too many comforts, though.
What is your outfit, not to interrupt your eating, but what do your outfits represent? I know muzzle loaders in your rendezvous and so on dress up. What era is this that you're wearing, Guy?
This is around between the 1790s and 1820s.
A trapper or?
Yeah, trapper or trader.
Okay, and this would be your Indian wife's dress?
Whatever.
Okay, we'll try that. Venison wild rice stew.
I'll hand it on the plate there, Bob.
Here's a plate, okay. We'll scoop some up for ourselves. How is it, Bob?
Well, I wish everybody'd keep talking. I'll keep eating. It's great. It's great. No, the rice, it's kind of like an old-fashioned dinner, like mother or somebody would have for real stick to your ribs type of concoction. It's really good.
This recipe gives us a unique insight into our heritage. Visit Guy and Evelyn Swan with dozens of their fellow muzzleloaders at the Muzzleloaders Village at the Outdoor Fair. They'll be demonstrating colonial crafts and